Hello, it's been a while. Welcome back. I like to take breaks from doing the podcast when things are getting a little bit crazier in my day to day life, such as with my business, or for in this instance, it was fall camp for football started this year. And I like to be, first off, I like to be as focused as I can on the things that are the main things, which is a little bit what we're going to talk about today. And then also, I want to make sure that the quality of this podcast is as best as I can make it. And the last thing I want to do is rush an episode or um, feel like I'm getting burnt out on doing it. Because if I feel like because the ultimate goal of this podcast is to help people while also providing some sort of sustenance for you to apply to your day to day life. Yes, this business is connected with my Simple Disciplines coaching program or to the Instagram, however you want to say it. But this is a standalone podcast, so you can listen to it without being a client. It's free. Um, and if someone made you pay to listen to this podcast right now, let me know. You can choose to be a supporter if you want. Uh, in order for me to keep the show going, this show does cost me money to do, and I do this for free. That's why I do take breaks, but you can choose to be a supporter if you want. By no means, you can just check the link down in the bottom description. By no means am I forcing people to be a supporter in order to listen. You get nothing, you get no perks for being a supporter other than like a shout out by me. But if you want to be a supporter, you can. You can choose any dollar amount you want, whether it's $1, $5, $10 a month. You can choose to support the show. But as it stands, I do this show for free. It actually costs me money to do the show. So I try to give the best possible content, the best possible quality for the show that I can manage. In order for me to do that, I have to know when it's time to cut certain things out, and I have to know when I'm able to do it. My schedule right now for the season, for football season, is I'll probably be able to record the show on Mondays. And this is the first Monday of the first week, or the second Monday of the first week of school. So we're getting back to our normal schedule. Fall camp is a bit crazy for football. If you don't know about fall camps for college football, it's, I guess, same thing for the NFL, I guess, a training camp. But it's my days were from 6 or 7 a.m. to about 10 o'clock at night. And that's about, I was getting home around 9:45, 10 o'clock at night, and then got to wake up and do it again the next day. So I have to know what my priorities are. And I made an Instagram post about this today, and I kind of, this is what I want to talk about is balance. Okay. I am probably the worst person to talk to when it comes about balance because I don't really view balance in life the way other people do. Some people, when they see me do the things that I do, or I was listening to Andy Frisella on the Real AF podcast talk about this yesterday, was I'm kind of talking about this same topic that he was talking about when it comes to balance, is we can't relate with other people when it comes to balance because we want to do things. I'm talking about myself and Andy Frisella on his podcast. I'm talking about Andy Frisella at this moment. He's a CEO of First Form. We want to do things that are going to have a lasting impact. We want to be successful. We want to do the very best we can. And whatever we're doing, for him, it's business. For me, it's my business and football. And in order to do that, we have to do things. We have to sacrifice, and we have to be able to be something and do things that other people aren't willing to do. And so the thought of balance is a little bit comical. Yes, I do believe you need to have a bit of a social life. Yes, I do believe you have to be 100% into your marriage. Yes, I believe that you have to be able to be all there for, certain people in your life, spouse, your very, very best friends, and some members of your family. But in order to be able to be great and have a solid legacy, you have to understand that your life is going to be busy, your life is going to be difficult, and this thing of balance isn't going to exist. I don't really want, let me just talk about Andy Frisella for a second, because I feel like I talk about me a lot on the show, and I do feel, believe it or not, I do feel weird about talking about myself unless I'm just telling a story or whatever. But Andy Frisella, for example, you can look up more about him, and he's the creator of the 75 Hard Challenge, which I know some people who've listened to the show have done before. He's a CEO of First Form, but he also has multiple companies. He does 2 workouts a day. He does he runs multiple businesses. He starts going into the office around 7 a.m. He takes calls all the way till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And his wife was actually on the show the other day talking about how he is always on. He's always pushing. He's always sacrificing. But he wasn't always like that, even when he started to be successful in his business. See, he was severely overweight. He always made excuses for why he was, could push off dieting or push off losing the weight, because he was pretty successful at the time. It wasn't until he realized that he was severely overweight and it was affecting his life and he was miserable is when he made a change. And he's lost a ton of weight. He's in insane shape now, but he's also more successful now than he ever was, and he has more capacity to be more successful because he made his personal life, or him as a person, better. Okay, and this is what I talk about with my clients all the time, is in order for you to be more successful in your business, in order to maintain success, in order for you actually to take your business to the next level, you have to make sure you have the personal discipline, which is why I talk about going to the gym, which is why I talk about eating right, which is why I talk about just having routines of discipline. And it's crazy that someone who is so successful realized his own shortcomings. Okay, and I look at it like this. You know what happens when a scale is balanced? It's at 0. When a scale is balanced, it's at 0. And if you want to do things in your life that carry weight, things are going to be a little bit unbalanced. Andy Frisella talks about how he won't go to certain places because he does a cold plunge every morning at 35 degrees. And he even says 35 degrees Fahrenheit, by the way, for people who are listening who are in other countries, 35 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 3 degrees above freezing. He even says that that's not recommended. He does it because it's hard and other people aren't doing it. He talks about he won't go to certain places for a certain amount of time because there's no cold plunges there, or he doesn't go to certain parties because he's got to work out, or he'll leave parties early in order to do his second workout. And he's done this for a very long time, and it's not because he thinks he's, gonna train to be David. He even said, like, David Goggins does stuff that's crazier than him. David Goggins runs hundreds of miles or whatever. He does it because he knows that he's got to keep himself in that state of discipline. Otherwise, his barriers or his boundaries for which he lives his life will be compromised, and it's going to be a slippery slope. I know people who can maintain a solid level of discipline, and it's nothing crazy, but they do it for a very, very long time. And I think that's the key, is making things realistic and being able to sustain them for a long amount of time. But the fact of the matter is no matter what you're doing in order to be successful, there's going to be things that seem unbalanced to somebody who is not destined for that greatness that you're trying to achieve. And other people are going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to say, oh, you need to hang out and come out with us. It's okay to take a night, to go crazy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, sure, for those people. But for you, it might not be, because you, if you're listening to this, are probably someone who is trying to do something great. I live by the phrase, I actually heard my pastor say this a long time ago when I was younger, and it's just stuck with me for whatever reason, and I kind of apply this to my life. I do apply this to my life now, is others may, I may not. Other people might be able to go out on a Friday or Saturday night. Other people might be able to eat like this or not go to the gym or whatever, but you may not, because you're destined for greatness. I'm not saying those other people aren't great people or whatever, but very rarely do I see people who constantly live in a state of, or constantly live their life in compromise, meaning they're constantly compromising their sleep, constantly compromising their eating habits, their training schedule, whatever. And and very rarely do I see these people live in a state of compromise, live up to super high and great achievements. Yes, there are people who party and still are successful in business, but are they successful in life? I don't always equate wealth to being successful. You can have a successful business, but your personal life looks like crap, and we see that all the time. We all know people, and I've talked about this on the show, is I know people who are successful in business who have a pretty miserable personal life and they're depressed. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror and be happy with what you accomplished outside of your business for that day, I don't think you're a winner. Winning isn't just about having more points on the scoreboard, except in sports. That's what it's all about. I'm talking about in life. Winning is being well-rounded and being successful in anything you're doing. If you're married, be successfully married. If you have a business, successfully run that business, successfully lead a team, successfully help your clients. I take much pride in that. I don't have 100 clients. I've had about 10 clients this year, but all 10 of those clients have had success through the Simple Disciplines coaching program. And I won't compromise the final product of that for any reason. And I've had opportunities to expand the business, but I didn't like the thought of not one-on-one coaching my clients. Maybe I'll be at a place later on where I can take on more clients and it's less one-on-one coaching, but they still receive the final product. I just haven't figured it out yet. And I'm in no rush to compromise the final product for, my clients, for the Simple Disciplines coaching business, in order to make more money and in order to like expand it while compromising the final product, if that makes sense. Because the final product is my client's state of personal discipline, routines, and success. And I won't work with someone, or I will stop working with them if I feel like I am no longer in service to them. Which is also why when I took a break from this podcast and I was in fall camp, I wasn't taking on new clients, because taking on a new client, there's a lot of front end work for me in order to get them started on the program. It's a lot more meetings, it's a lot more messaging, but so I just service the clients I have and giving them the best quality product, working with their schedules, working with my schedules, but I didn't take on new clients. I didn't even make an Instagram post because I wanted to make sure that the quality of the product is still at my expectations and at the client's expectations, because they expect, if they're paying me money, to help work with them on certain things, help them coach through some certain things, helping them with their business or helping with them with their volunteer work, that they are getting the product that they expect. So for the past, and people think that if I'm not posting, I'm just like chilling. No, I'm not chilling. I'm working. My work looks different than your work. You just heard me explain my schedule. From 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. I was doing football. So I would have like an hour or 2 hour break during the day or whatever. During that hour, 2 hour break, I was taking clients. So I didn't have time to chill. I didn't have time to play video games. I love playing video games. I didn't have time to go out to eat. I love going out to eat. I didn't have time to do certain things. I didn't have time to enjoy certain things. But at the end of the day, I knew going into August that August was going to be a grind, and for the rest of fall, it's going to be a grind, organizing stuff around football. But that's what I signed up for. That's what I'm choosing to do, because what I want to do is be the very best athlete I can be, leave a legacy when it comes to, I've talked about on the show before about inspiring veterans getting out of the military or whatever inspiring veterans to achieve greatness after they get out, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's, there's a problem with veterans getting out of the military about they think that they can't achieve big things because they were part of a team. They were part of something great, being in the military, a successful organizations, especially in the Marine Corps. And then when they get out, they struggle with the transition because they feel like a nobody. And you don't have to choose to be a nobody. So in order for me to continue building that, I have to sacrifice certain things. And I don't go out. I'm if I'm out of my house past, other than, I was explaining fall camp, if I'm out of my house past 9 or 10 p.m., that's rare. And it's usually some sort of special occasion. I don't go out. I don't drink alcohol. I don't um, eat certain foods all the time. My diet, I try to stay on my diet. Sometimes it just doesn't work out because of scheduling. I have to eat things that are available, but I don't eat a lot of fast food, although I love certain fast food places. I love going to Brahms, and I love getting a burger and a milkshake from Brahms, but I don't do it. I do it maybe once every other month. I eat that. And it even gets, it actually sometimes even annoys my wife, and it, because she's like, it gets hard to schedule dinner because I don't really know, we're newlyweds, so we're still trying to, learn to live together and whatnot. And she's getting it and she sees it, but she's also willing to sacrifice with me when it comes to certain things. And I think that's important, is to be yoked up with someone who is willing. When, when we were got engaged, is I wanted to be clear to her, like, I want her to pursue her dreams and goals, and I want to pursue mine. Neither of one of our dreams or goals or careers is more important than the other, and we're going to do things for each other to build each other up. Okay. And for this past month, she's been really great with, helping me out with laundry, cleaning up around the house, helping with the dogs. And usually that's my role because I'm home more often than her. So there's a yin and a yang, like sometimes I'm doing more for her and then sometimes she's doing more for me. And we just know that, instead of, sometimes what I see with relationships and problems I see is they look at it as a daily thing. Like, today I did this and you didn't do anything around the house. And then the next day is, well, I did the dishes today and you didn't do anything. And it's just like, look, communicate ahead of time and learn that there's going to be seasons in the year, seasons in life, when somebody's going to be making more money. There's going to be someone that's making more, doing more around the house. There's going to be somebody that's not home as much or whatever, and somebody's going to be helping out with the dogs more. And to me, that's balance. Balance is not being able to have, your mental health time or whatever freaking the soft people these days are calling it, or having your me time all the time, or having, time where you can hang out with your friends or whatever. And I believe that doing that is important, but when the time is right, when you're not sacrificing your long-term goals, because ultimately your long-term goals shouldn't be 100% selfish. I want to be successful, make money, because I also want to bless other people. So, and I want to do great things. I want to leave my family in a better place than when I came into this world. And I want to help other people with my businesses and employ people and things like that. So to me, that's balance, is learning to go about life, especially with your spouse or your partner or whatever, in order to prop each other up, in order to achieve your long-term goals. That's my idea of balance. My idea of balance is not the same as other people's balance. Okay. I know this is a short episode. I'm about to wrap it up. Sorry, my voice is going out, but I appreciate you listening. If you've listened through this all the way and you've liked the episode or you hated the episode, message me at Simple Disciplines on Instagram. Let me know your feedback. Also, rate the show 5 stars. This show has still grown in listeners, even though I haven't recorded an episode in about 3 weeks or maybe a month. And I really appreciate you guys. That's all thanks to you guys listening, sharing the show. So do me a favor, share the show, tell a friend, and also leave a review. Thanks everybody for listening. See y'all next time.